I've also removed the second alternator kit from my off-road Discovery for when I sell it. So I'm going to whip that onto the Defender now. Not very difficult, it's just a quick bracket. Bolts that on, obviously got to do a bit of wiring and fit a belt. But I need to get a belt, because obviously I cut this one to get it off to save ripping the front end apart. It's always good to put a new belt on anyway, so I'll get this put on now. Right, so there we go. I won't get a belt yet. Sorry, I won't tighten it up until I get a belt. Once a belt's in place, obviously you can tension it by moving that and doing it up. Just a second earth. I run on the other one, so I'll probably do this, a similar thing on this. And then we need to run, obviously, the exciter wire and the charging wire. But we'll do that later on. Well, we've had a delivery. Finally. Only 17 weeks from ordering. Let's get it open and have a look. Right, so I'm trying to get my new bumper on, and you've got to get the bolts obviously through the chassis and the bumper, and you've got to get nuts on the end in there. So the way I've found to do it is to get a bit of masking tape. Hang on. So a bit of masking tape like that, stick the spanner on, stick the nut in, stick the washer on, fold it all over so it traps the washer, and then you can get it in the hole like that, and then you can get the bolt on it. So my next project is to sort the wiring out. Now, I put this isolated bung on the bulkhead for the main lives as a temporary measure. It's never going to stay like that. It was just literally a point where they can all connect. You've obviously got the feed up from the battery. You've got the feed to the starter motor, feed for the glow plugs, etc., etc., spotlights. So I came up, I had a look on Amazon and found a buzz bar, quite a lump. There is obviously a cover that goes over the top. So I need to today remove all them lives, that bung, mount that to the bulkhead and position them correctly. I also want one for the earths, but at £35 each at the moment, I could only afford the live one. So we'll get an earth one at some point. So yeah, today I want to pull that off, get that buzz bar mounted up and get them all looking a lot nicer. So the first job, because the battery is under the seat, I need to quickly whip the seat out. Then I can easily get to it. It's only held on with 8 10mm bolts, 4 front, 4 rear. So I'll quickly whip that out, and then we can get to the battery and unplug it. I have got a cut off down there, but I'd rather get the battery completely off, just to be safe. Well, I've been a bit lax with videoing stuff this week because I've been trying to get this truck semi-ready for a trip on Saturday. Today's Thursday. We're off to Wales for a few days laning, so I'll just quickly give you a rundown on what I've done. First off, the light guards. Went to Peterborough Land Rover show last weekend. Found a second-hand set for 25 quid. Sorry, for 30 quid actually. I offered him 25 quid and he declined. They were badly painted silver. So he said, come back Sunday. Well, I was only there Saturday, but thankfully I found a brand spanking new set for 30 quid. So good job he would decline the offer. But anyway, I had to modify them. Now, as you've seen from my videos, I don't weld. But I thought I'm going to have a go. So my first time welding was the light guards. So to clear the swing away wheel carrier, these used to bolt there, but obviously that wouldn't swing. So I had to chop them down and join them back together. Now, I know you can just about see that that's a bit ropey, but the whole truck's not exactly mint. So that's perfectly fine for what I need. So that's chopped down and they're on. Next, the wheels. I picked up some 33-inch by 12.5 Conforzers from the show. Put them on my 10J modulars. They're looking good. I did buy a set of 5. And as you can probably see, that's a Cymex on there. Well, it's not, it's an Interturbo, but same thing. For one very good reason. There's the 5th one there, and the wheel. That wheel is a 16-inch, not a 15 like the rest. So the 16 I had, sorry, the spare wheel I had was always a 16. I had never noticed. So I've ordered a new wheel. It has arrived, so I'll go and get that done today. Also, from the show, I picked up some roof lining and some carpet. So I've made some carpet panels, put Celotex insulation behind them, and then bolted them to the side. Got the roof lining in. Again, it was just spray adhesive and a roller, and that's all done. So hopefully that will dumb down some of the noise. I don't know if I've shown you the map before as well, but that came a few weeks ago. And I also bought some new window channels because my window dropped. It wasn't going up and down straight. Well, turns out the play was actually in the mechanism. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but that was all loose. They're all ovaled, so it was dropping at an angle. So last minute last night, I called up Brick Car. Yeah, we got them in stock, so I run down there and got them. Where is it? There. So I've got a brand new regulator, MUC 3024. What I can't work out is, though, that was £7.50 all in. How have they made that, transported it, and how has Brick Car put a profit on it, and I've paid £7.50? What does that actually cost for them to buy? Surely they must be making 30%. So if they buy it at 4 or 5 quid, how? I just don't get it. I don't understand, but I'm not complaining. So hopefully I'll be able to put my window up and down without it dropping. I've put new, well, I haven't actually secured them yet, but I've got new guides, foam guides. I've also put some, obviously not straight, but some extra insulation around the door joint to try and make it a bit quieter. Put some extra mounts up there so the iPad can go on there. I've tested that out. That works really well with the GPS unit I've got. So we should be all right for the trip. What else have we done? Oh, I've had some self-adhesive number plates made. Because obviously with the winch bumper on the front from Dixon's, you probably won't see the number plate. I will try and keep that there because that's a legal one, and obviously I've had a sticky one made with the spacing. I have got a winch coming as well, the same one that's on my trailer. So I'm hoping that turns up before the trip, otherwise I'll be relying on other people. And obviously the rock sliders, I think you've seen them already. I can't remember where we are. I've had to do these videos over a few days, or a couple of weeks actually. So they're on. You can see in the pictures where the old wheels sat, these were protruding a long way, but at least with these wheels on now, it all sits about level. So that's where we're at with this. I'm going to get that window regulator in today, get that wheel sorted out. I'd like to do an oil change as well. I should have time today or maybe tomorrow morning, get some oil changed, won't take long. I've done the oils and everything else. So I think we're trip ready. So I'll come back to you shortly when everything's done and just before the off. And obviously I'll video the trip as well on the GoPro. You could try and get some footage from that as well. So, right, moving on. Another job I'm doing, or need to do, is change, modify the gear linkage to a Syncro Slickshift. So I've just started this. I've had this apart because I wasn't getting diff lock and it wasn't really feeling very positive going into, you know, between high and low range. I could get low range, but I had to hold the stick over. Because this is an R380 and the old tunnel is a 77, it's not quite wide enough to allow movement. So I have taken it off, given it a little tickle with a hammer on the back side, so the pin now moves, and also you can't really see now because I've put the tunnel back on, but the floor sort of here on the other side need a little bit of a little bit of a tickle to make it work. So now we can engage low and then go, sorry, diff lock and non-diff lock. So yeah, so we're good. So that's done. So now onto this slick shift. Got, well, first of all, obviously after you've taken this out, take this 17mm nut off and then lift the gear stick off. And with that off, obviously the gear stick now comes off the splines. We can get this out the way, hopefully. Oh, that's on there well. Hang on a minute. Right, now that's off, you can pop the little spring out the way. So you just got to just lever it past the stick, like so. And like so. I think that one's done. No, not quite. There we go. Now we can undo this 10mm retaining screw, and that just retains it in there. We'll get that off. Now with that undone, we can lift this out, but you've got to be careful, because apparently there is a spring in there which we haven't got. There's supposed to be a spring and a bush in there, but I haven't got it. Right, I best go and investigate and see if I've got one somewhere else. So the next thing is to undo the 10mm that hold the turret on. So I'll do that now and then lift that out the way. Right, so now that's undone, we can lift this out the way. There we go. Now that's a brand new gearbox from Ashcroft that I fitted. So this is all like new in here, thankfully. We have got a new bush to go, but because this is a brand new, we have got a new bush to go in there, but as it's a brand new gearbox, I'm tempted to keep that and just keep this as a spare. What you have to do is undo this grub screw there, pull the, I think they call it a quadrant off, turn it over, and there's a circlip on the bottom which sits in those grooves, and then you can pull the bush out and put a new one in. But as I say, because this is a brand new gearbox from Ashcroft and it's done literally 2,000 miles, I think I'll leave that and keep that as a spare, so if that does ever wear out in the future, we can replace it. So now, next job is to put the spacers in. Right, so there's the spacer plate, and that obviously just sits on there, like that. And then the turret can go back on. That way around. Take that bolt out, because we don't need that bolt now. And you get new bolts with the kit, obviously longer ones, so we can put them in. I'll come back once I've done them. Right, that's bolted down with the spacer in, you can see. Now, I haven't got the spring and the nylon in there, so for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to fit it for now. But if you do have it, and obviously when I do have it, you put it in that hole with the nylon facing out, and then you can drop this you can drop that in there, and then we need the little retaining bolt again. Right, then that goes back in there just to retain it in situ. I'm sorry, I've just realised I'm not pointing the bloody phone at the camera, but anyway, right. No, look, the camera at the thing I'm doing. Right, so do that up. Oh, so that's that done. Now we've got to get the springs back over there. Right, so it's back together. I've just had a quick look back at the video and I'm sorry, it is terrible. I've tried to film while doing bits and completely missed some of it, but basically you get the idea. I did have a bit of play in here, up and down, so I've just hammered the springs down a bit to put a bit more tension on, and now it's quite tight. So we'll put it all back together and hope for the best. Let's see. Right, well, it's all in and back together. The gear shift is a lot tighter. Benefits and problems with that. The distance between 1 and 3 is now tiny. So if you're going from obviously first into second up to third, you hardly have to move the stick to third. So some people like that. I'll probably get used to it. It's just where before there was a lot of gap between the gears, so it was easy to find. So anyway, that's that done. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you very soon in another video. Ta-da.